Anelle and Jihoon Part 52. Honeymoon in the Maldives, a week of stillness and stars. Day 1. The sky was painted in shades of rose and gold as the private jet landed on the narrow airstrip surrounded by endless ocean. Jihoon held Anelle's hand as they descended the steps. Baby Daejun nestled sleepily against her chest. A sea breeze kissed their skin the moment their feet touched the tarmac. There were no reporters, no security detail, just warm air and the sound of waves. Their sleek white yacht waited at the dock nearby. It would take them to the private island resort, secluded, lush, and entirely theirs for the week. Taiho had made the arrangements. Every checkpoint had been cleared, every route mapped. On board, Anelle stood at the deck railing, wind tugging at her curls. Jihoon wrapped his arms around her from behind. She leaned into him. Daejun lay wrapped between them. "No calls, no screens, no meetings," Jihoon whispered. "Just us," Anelle said. They arrived just as the sun dipped beneath the horizon. The villa was built over water, floor-to-ceiling glass, an open deck, a private plunge pool. The ocean murmured beneath their feet. The bed was a sea of linen and sunlight. That night, they ate fresh seafood by candlelight on the deck. Jihoon fed Anelle grilled pineapple, laughing when she said it reminded her of home. Daejun cooed from his bassinet. When they crawled into bed, Anelle rested her head against Jihoon's chest. "I think I finally believe we made it," she said. "You were always the destination," he whispered. They slept, wrapped in the lullaby of waves. Day 2. The rhythm of love. Morning came softly. Light filtered through white curtains. Jihoon woke first and watched Anelle sleep. Daejun stirred between them, reaching for her necklace. They spent the day barefoot. After breakfast, Jihoon brought her to a hidden path between palm trees. At the end of the path was a hammock suspended over the shallows. They lay together for hours. Anelle sketched the shoreline while Jihoon napped with Daejun resting on his chest. When Jihoon awoke, Anelle was still drawing, lost in it. "You still escape into lines," he said. "They're the only way I know how to say things too big for words," she replied. That afternoon they swam. Anelle wore a white linen wrap. Jihoon lifted Daejun gently into the water, letting him splash while holding him securely. For dinner they sat on pillows beneath a canopy strung with fairy lights. A soft jazz tune played from a nearby speaker. Jihoon offered Anelle a letter. Inside, a promise to love her the way the sea holds the sky, without end, without pride, just devotion. And once Daejun was asleep, they danced barefoot in the moonlight. Day 3. A resort tradition waited for them at breakfast. 2 glass bottles, 2 pieces of parchment, 2 pens. "Write a letter," the host said, "to each other. Seal it, toss it into the ocean, let it carry your vows again." Anelle wrote quietly. Jihoon watched her, his hand motionless until his heart guided the pen. Her letter said, "If we ever get lost in the noise, may this ocean remind us that our love was built in silence." His letter said, "I would give up every kingdom, every title, every inheritance, just to wake up to your face for the rest of my life." They tossed the bottles into the current. They watched them drift side by side. Later that day, they kayaked across the reef, stopping at a shallow lagoon where Anelle sang to Daejun as Jihoon took photos. They built a sand sculpture, not of castles, but of a home. "You're the only home I've ever known," Jihoon said. "I'm just the door," she replied. "You made it feel safe to knock." They made love that night with windows open, wind whistling like a hymn. Day 4, sacred stillness. No plans, just stillness. They stayed in bed until noon. Anelle breastfed while humming a song from her childhood. Jihoon sat on the floor back against the wall, just watching them. In the afternoon they wrote poetry. Jihoon hadn't written since high school. Anelle encouraged him. He wrote about the way she breathes. She wrote about the way he never stops watching the world. They read their poems aloud beneath the banyan tree near the edge of the island. A couple staying on the other side heard and applauded. "I think you're everyone's dream," Anelle told Jihoon, "and you're everyone's reminder that dreams don't come from royalty. They come from courage," he answered. That night, Jihoon bathed Daejun while Anelle lit candles. The baby kicked happily, splashing water everywhere. You two are my empire, Jihoon whispered. Day 5, it rained. Hard. And instead of hiding indoors, they ran outside. Anelle pulled Jihoon by the hand and twirled in the garden. Daejin watched from the covered deck, wide-eyed. Jihoon picked her up, laughing, soaked. This is not what royalty looks like. No, she said, it's better. They showered together after, scrubbing sand from each other's knees, teasing and laughing. Then they spent the afternoon on the floor playing cards, eating mango slices, and asking questions they hadn't asked yet. What scares you the most? She asked. Losing you, he said without pause. What scares you? He asked. That this is too perfect to last, she replied. Jihoon reached across the blanket. Then we'll live every day like it's the last day of perfect. Day 6, the night of the lanterns. Their second to last night. A resort worker offered them a sky lantern. They wrote their fears on it, their hopes, their promises. Anelle wrote, to never doubt our belonging again. Jihoon wrote, to lead not with pride but with love. They lit the flame, watched it rise, held hands in silence. Jihoon played her a song he had written on guitar. His voice trembled, but she smiled the whole way. You were the song I didn't know I'd been humming my whole life, he said. Day 7, the return. They didn't want to pack. Jihoon folded her clothes with more care than his own. Anelle wrapped Daejin in a fresh blanket and kissed his nose. As they waited for the boat back to the airport, they sat beneath a palm tree, one last view of the sea. Are you ready to wear the crown? She asked. Not without you beside me, he said. She smiled. Then let's go wear it together. The boat arrived, and as they sailed away, Jihoon whispered to the wind. We didn't escape the world. We found the place where it couldn't follow us. Taiho and Nihal. The villa was quiet after the wedding, peaceful. Taiho stood by the window with a coffee mug in hand, watching the sun slip through the trees outside. For once there was no mission to run, no system to scan, no danger to guard against. The twins were adjusting fast. Taiho drove them to the local international school to register them for Korean language immersion. The school receptionist bowed politely, but kept stealing glances at Nihal's warm demeanor and Taiho's quiet protectiveness. Uncle Taiho is our guardian now, one of the girls said proudly. He checks if our socks match. Nihal laughed. Taiho flushed. After the visit, they all stopped for ice cream. I never imagined peace could look like this, Taiho said as they sat beneath a park tree. Maybe it just needed the right people, Nihal replied, nudging his foot under the bench. Day 2, Taiho took Nihal's mother to the private hospital across the Han River. The doctor greeted them with a gentle nod. The scans are clear. The surgery is scheduled for next week. Nihal held her mother's hand, silently offering strength. Taiho stood behind them, not intruding, just being there. That was his power. Later that night, he found Nihal sitting alone on the balcony. She'll be okay, he said gently. Nihal nodded. I know, I didn't think I'd ever live in a world where this kind of help existed. Taiho looked at her. Then let's build it, one day at a time. Day 3, the kitchen became their haven. Nihal wanted to make Egyptian flatbread. Taiho insisted on baking banana muffins instead. They compromised. I will not survive this batter, he said dramatically, tasting too much of it. She laughed. You fought trained assassins, you'll survive muffin mix. Taiho looked up. I'm applying to university here. I want to become a doctor, not a nurse anymore, a real one like my father wanted. Then Taiho set down his cup and smiled, full, proud, protective. I would have married you as a nurse, he said, but I'll kneel for you as a doctor. She blinked back tears. They didn't need a proposal, not yet. They had time, they had hope, they had each other.